A viral claim emerged lately in the frenzy of social media, where stories travel faster than wildfire. The claim states that Michael Bublé, a Canadian singer, encouraged his fans to pause for a minute of silence in remembrance of conservative activist Charlie Kirk before every sporting event. Bublé was depicted as having launched a patriotic movement in order to pay honor to Kirk, who was tragically slain on September 10, 2025, at Utah Valley University. This claim spread throughout platforms like Facebook in early September 2025. However, the tale fell apart as soon as it came under closer inspection, exposing a complex web of false information that brings to light the hazards associated with viral stories that are not verified. This claim can be traced back to a Facebook post that was published by a group called Golden Mick Moments. The post included a link to an article that stated that Bublé had publicly made an emotional speech in which he called on fans around Canada to pay tribute to Kirk at sporting events, professional venues, and community gatherings. The report portrayed the gesture as a mighty tribute to Kirk's legacy, implying that Bublé was taking the initiative to lead a movement that surpassed music, borders, and politics. The tweet received a substantial amount of attention, garnering close to 9,000 reactions and more than 550 comments, with numerous users commending Bublé for his alleged attitude. Nevertheless, the foundation of the story was at best weak and insubstantial because it was constructed on a source that is well known for the dissemination of misleading narratives. Let us pretend for a moment that this assertion were proven to be true. Imagine a hockey stadium in Vancouver that is filled to capacity, the audience eagerly awaiting the start of the game. The voice of the announcer resonates before the puck drops, calling for a moment of silence in honor of Charlie Kirk, a controversial figure in American politics. As Bublé's name is associated with the occasion, fans stand quietly in reflection, some of them perplexed and others overcome with emotion. It is a striking image that might evoke strong emotions, whether in the form of passionate support or intense anger, considering Kirk's contentious history as the creator of Turning Point USA, which is well known for its conservative student activity. However, this particular scene never took place. No such statement has been issued by Bublé, and he has not made any public comments regarding Kirk's death. He is known for his silky jazz voice and his apolitical persona. The truth is less glamorous than what is depicted in movies. Golden Mick Moments, the organization that is responsible for the viral post, has a history of making up stories and frequently utilizes artificially intelligent-generated graphics in order to increase the amount of engagement that they receive. This strategy, which is intended to generate clicks by exploiting emotional reactions, is a classic example of contemporary disinformation efforts. The fact that the claim spread so quickly demonstrates how quickly a single post can grab an audience, particularly if it is in line with particular ideological perspectives. Kirk, who was 31 years old, was a right-wing commentator and a close ally of President Donald Trump. He was a polarizing personality, so any homage that he made, particularly one that was associated with a well-liked celebrity such as Bublé, would be a lightning rod for attention. To unpack this, take into consideration the backdrop surrounding Kirk's death. Kirk was killed by gunfire on September 10, 2025, during a speaking engagement at Utah Valley University that was a stop on his American comeback tour. As Kirk was responding to a question regarding gun violence, a sniper's shot struck him in the neck. The incident, which was recorded on camera, led to widespread confusion among the 3,000 people who were in attendance. After the fact, the Federal Bureau of Investigation released photographs of a suspect. Utah Governor Spencer Cox identified this individual as Tyler Robinson, who was subsequently taken into custody on charges of capital murder. The assassination triggered a wide range of emotions, ranging from sports teams like the New York Yankees and Green Bay Packers having moments of silence to heated arguments in Congress, where a suggested prayer for Kirk led to a yelling brawl. Given this context, the assertion made by Bublé appears to be virtually credible at first glance. Sports groups paid tribute to Kirk after his death, which was a subject of national discussion, albeit with some disagreement. The National Football League's NFL moment of silence before a Packers-Commanders game on September 11, 2025, received a lot of criticism because of the time that it was held and the political connotations that in a similar fashion, the Yankees commemoration at Yankee Stadium ignited a commotion on social media, with fans divided over the decision to recognize a figure notorious for speech that targeted underprivileged communities. What role, if any, did Bublé play in this? Completely made up Kirk's death was covered extensively by a number of reputable news organizations, none of which carried any statements from the singer. Rather than commenting on the subject, his official social media channels continued to focus on his music and the promotions for his upcoming Christmas album. The New York Times reported on September 11, 2025, that Charlie Weimers had suggested a moment of silence in the European Parliament, but the idea was rejected. No verifiable source has mentioned Bublé in this context, particularly considering the fact that Bublé has a global platform and the likelihood that mainstream media would cover such a statement if it had been made. The lack of evidence is glaringly obvious. Let's examine the reasons why this rumor struck a chord with people. Bublé is the perfect candidate to be the face of a made-up story because of his benign image and ability to attract fans across many cultures. When he is placed in the same narrative with Kirk, a character who divided audiences, it creates a storyline that is both stunning and full of emotion. Ideal clickbait material. Consider this alternate scenario. What if Bublé had called for a moment of silence to honor the victims of a natural disaster, which would have been a much less controversial cause? It may not have become popular on the internet. The narrative was further disseminated as a result of the controversy that surrounded Kirk's legacy and Bublé's unexpected participation in the story, which capitalized on the public's craving for scandal in the context of a contentious political environment. In addition, the process of debunking exposes the mechanisms that are responsible for the spread of false information. The post from Golden Mick Moments was based on a false piece, which was probably created by artificial intelligence or a low-effort content farm, with the intention of exploiting Kirk's death for interaction. This is in line with broader trends in the year 2025, in which false narratives, frequently enhanced by bots or algorithmic boosts, flourish on platforms such as Facebook. Despite the fact that the post is not true, its success underscores a grim reality. The emotional aftermath of Kirk's assassination led many people to accept it as legitimate without raising any questions about its authenticity. They clicked on share after seeing a well-known individual's name, a call to action, and a cause that they supported. When we consider this, the failure of the claim presents an opportunity to rethink the way that we consume news. Imagine a future in which fans pause before sharing, checking assertions against reliable sources such as Reuters or the Associated Press. If someone had done a fast search in this situation, they would have found no evidence of Bublé's participation, which would have prevented thousands of people from spreading a falsehood. The event also emphasizes the fact that pages such as Golden Mick Moments, which use tragedies for financial gain, ought to be cracked down on by platforms. Ultimately, the Michael Bublé and Charlie Kirk affair serves as a warning tale about the influence of disinformation that spreads like wildfire on the internet. It serves as a reminder that even in a world that is extremely well-connected, truth can be difficult to ascertain. The manufactured story about Bublé is becoming less relevant in the digital world, a temporary but powerful illustration of how readily fiction can pass itself off as fact. This comes while Kirk's death continues to generate genuine tributes and discussions, ranging from NFL stadiums to Capitol Hill. Bublé's music continues to be his primary concern, not a cause that he has ever given his endorsement to. And as far as the general population is concerned, it is a call to action to investigate further, ask questions without hesitation, and to allow truth, not clicks, to be the deciding factor in the day.